Flight Simulator and another video. This video will be a real flight with the MD-11 from TFDI Design. It has seen some updates so far. I think for the latest revision of this now currently at 0.24 alpha. Some of the issues have been fixed. There are some others that are being worked on, but we are in a good shape to do a full flight review and see how this aircraft performs. Just to set the expectations right, I think I've said this before, I am not an expert when it comes to MD-11, so I might be doing things wrong or not according to the real-life procedures. So don't expect me to fully follow the procedures. We will follow a checklist that I have obtained from TFDI Design with the aircraft. But if there is something that I'm doing wrong or not according to the procedure, that is not the intention of this video. We are just going to take a look at what has been fixed, how this aircraft performs in a full flight. We'll try to follow some procedures, but it might not be accurate, so just setting the expectations right here. If you are looking for a tutorial video that explains and walks you through the procedures of this aircraft, this is not that video. This is just a review video to see how this aircraft performs. Anyhow, we are at Indianapolis International Airport at the cargo ramp, and we will be taking off for our destination to Boston Airport. Weather is a little bit cloudy, but we'll see how the entire flight goes. We are cold and dark, stairs are connected to the aircraft. I am not planning to use GSX to load the cargo to keep the video to a reasonable time, but we will power up the aircraft, talk about a couple things, and then we'll be on our way to our destination airport. Without further ado, let's hop into the cockpit and get this aircraft powered on and ready for the flight. Welcome to the flight deck of the MD-11. Couple things have changed since I recorded a video with this aircraft. First thing is now we have a SimBrief integration. So you can import a SimBrief flight plan if you set up your username in the options page. We will just do that, but there were some problems with the units, such as if you are using pounds in SimBrief to generate your flight plan, and it wasn't loading the aircraft correctly. We'll see if that has changed. If not, we will go back to the kilograms and then re-import the flight plan. Under the options, SimBrief username, we are using imperial units. Let's correct that. Celsius is fine. The systems, we are not going to use digital standby. I think all is good here. And performance, we are not going to touch anything here. Let's go to the dispatch. Let's import the flight plan first. We should have the charts available to us, so it will get us to departure and arrival charts if we click that, and we'll take a look at that. Currently, there is no way to view your OFP. Maybe it will be something, or it will be a function that they add later on, but we have the routing summarized here, which we can use to program our flight. Anyway, as you see, we have a block fuel of 50,681, and we have a cargo weight, or, well, where is my cargo weight? It's not giving me the weights for the cargo, but we have an estimated zero fuel weight and estimated takeoff weight. We can click the set payload and fuel button, and error setting the payload. So that's the problem. If you are using pounds in SimBrief, it is not gonna load the aircraft, and you will end up with that error message. Let me just go back to SimBrief and correct my units from pounds to kilograms. And I think this has something to do with Microsoft Flight Simulator always using the pounds and that conversion happening behind the scene. But there's something that's broken here that doesn't work if this is not set right. So I change to kilograms, and I am going to reload the flight plan. And as you see now, everything is in kilograms. And if I click set payload and fuel, payload set message is shown, and this should give us the correct payload. That's one of the things I think that hasn't been fixed yet, but I am hoping this will be fixed before the final release. All right, that part is done. Let's get with the startup procedure. I'm gonna put the checklist on my other screen just to be able to follow it. And we will go over the startup procedure. There are multiple checklists that TFDI design provided. There is the pre-flight checklist and then the normal checklist. So the pre-flight is, I think, what you need to do to set the aircraft. And the other one is a normal checklist. So we'll start with the overhead. We'll check the wipers are off right here. IRS switches are off. There is nothing here. Landing gear is down. Flaps are retracted. Spoilers are disarmed and stowed. Cutoff switches are in the off position. Throttle is in the idle position. Engine starter switches are in the off positions. What else? That's probably it. Fire handles. Yeah, as I said, I'm not going to follow the normal procedure, or at least follow it to the brim. I'll follow it to the brim, but we'll just do some memory items like common checklist items before powering the aircraft. We'll put the battery switch to on. I think it is safe to put the batteries to on. Some systems will come to life. There is still this like sound cutoff. I'm not sure if it's true to the real aircraft or is it something that they need to fix. I am not sure about that, but now we have power to the aircraft. We can do the fire test, engine and APU fire tests. This is not gonna work because we don't have AC power. This will work to some extent. We can either start the APU or enable the external power which we have connected to the aircraft. As you see, pressing the button, we are not going to hear anything. It's just gonna turn the lights on, but we can engage the external power. Let's go ahead and do that. Now external power is on. We'll get some lights configured here. And we need to start aligning our IRS and then we'll do our flow. It's again switching the switches to nav, and that will do the automatic cargo test, and we will turn on the forward and aft flows. And now we need to go to the FMC and set our position. FMC nav database is current, and we'll just check other stuff. As I said, I'm gonna try to do this a little bit quicker. Our departure is Kilo India November Delta, and our destination is Kilo Bravo Oscar Sierra. We'll plug this in here. Our alternate is Kilo Juliet Foxtrot Kilo KJFK. Our flight number today is UPS 1291. Usually out of Indy, FedEx, I believe, is the most has the most flights as the cargo operator. Our cruise level, let me check that one. You don't have to put this right away. You can do that later on, but while we are here, let's do that. Our flight level will be flight level 370. And the cost index is 44. I still have found a good way of entering the temperature and wind. This is, I believe, the crosswind component that you need to enter here, or I'm not sure if it's the field wind that the aircraft automatically converts it to crosswind component, but I don't think it will because there is no magnitude that you can put here. So we will leave it alone for now, and I don't know if it has any effect on the aircraft just yet. We'll press initialize IRS and our IRS will start aligning. If you want to see how long, we can go to the reference page. We can go to the position reference and it will tell us we have 8 minutes to align. Alright, now let's check one thing here. Fuel is 23,000 kilograms, so it is showing in kilograms. Even if I have the, I have the metric units. We'll keep that metric. I don't want to cause any problems. We have discussed about this issue with the pounds. And we'll come and go to the overhead. IRS is aligning. We'll do our flow from left to right, top to bottom. There's nothing here. Cockpit voice recorder, you can test it, but right now it doesn't do anything. There is no needle that moves here to the green band. Cargo temp, we will leave it as is. Engine ignition selector switch will stay off at this point. Windshield, we don't need. Over here, this is the hydraulic system. We can do a hydraulic system pressure test. And if we go down and pull the hydraulic page, we should see hydraulic pressure test in progress. So it's gonna take a while for the aircraft to complete that test. We can close that. Electrical, we will arm the emergency power, and the rest is at the positions. The switches are in the positions where they need to be. It's manually, it's automatically configured by the aircraft. Bleed air system, we're not gonna touch anything here yet because we don't have any bleed air running. Down below, let me just get a little bit closer to here so that you guys can see. I don't know if they fixed this. This is not the correct fuel. But if you put the quantity test or press that button, no, it's not working. So the fuel totalizer is still broken. It's not displaying the correct fuel amounts in these displays. Because if we are loaded with, what was our fuel quantity? 23,000 kilograms of fuel, you should see something close to 7,000 here, or maybe it is 7650, but the digits are not displaying correctly. I'm not sure about this, but let me do a quick math here. Yeah, that's close. So either those ones are 7s and it's not displayed correctly, but when you put the quantity test or press the button, this is 0, the displays, and then it will advance the numbers until it reaches to the fuel amount it senses. But that animation is missing and the digits are not displayed correctly. So we will leave this as is. I don't think those are 7s, those look like 1s to me. Even if I get closer, I can tell. I don't know. We'll leave it alone. Over here, emergency lights, we can arm them. No smoking to auto, seatbelt to auto. Down below, we can turn the nav lights on to inform the ground crews that we have power to the aircraft and someone is in the cockpit. Nothing else here just yet. And over here we can go ahead and do the full fire test if you want to.
Engine 1 fire. Engine 2 fire. Engine 3, fire. Engine 1, fire.
So the problem with this, I think if I remember correctly from the other MD-11 videos, it also says APU fire when you are performing this test. I don't think it's doing that yet. Maybe I am wrong, but that's what I remember. Don't quote me on that though, because I am not 100% sure if I remember that correctly. Down below, nothing to do here. Cabin pressure is on the automatic position, so we are not going to change anything here. Anti-ice systems, we don't need them today, and hopefully we will not need them during takeoff. Down below we can do a lights test to make sure all the lights are working in the cockpit, which looks like they are. And we can reset the fuel used. And that's pretty much it over here. Next step is to set our flight plan, and then we will set our main control panel or flight control panel, whichever you want to call it. And that probably will be it for setting up the aircraft before flight. So let's go down. IRS will align in 3 minutes. We'll go back to the init page. We haven't completed the weight initialization. Flight field seems correct, so we will take it in there, and then we will accept what aircraft calculated for us. There is a mismatch between what SimBrief thinks and what we have, but we will use these exact numbers. 201.8. Yeah, small difference here, but so be it. We will accept that, and then we will accept the CG values that the aircraft calculated for us. Before it was showing it on the menu, go to the payload. It doesn't show you the current payload. It doesn't update with your dispatch if you are using SimBrief, so I'm not sure if this will change in the future and show us the actual weights of the aircraft, but right now it's not working. Alright, so those are set, and next page we don't have to do anything here yet, and there is something you need to do here if I remember correctly, but that's not right now. Maybe it's a turnaround leg, I can't remember exactly, so we will leave it alone. Next up, flight plan page. From Indiana, we will depart using, if I go to my dispatch, let's see here, does it give me the runway? It doesn't give me the runway, but according to my flight plan routing from SimBrief, we are using runway 23 right, Mario 5 departure. So we will use that. 23 right, Mario 5, and BDOC transition. So we will insert this. This is an interesting departure. You get vectors from the ATC to Mario, so we can't delete or clear this discontinuity because this discontinuity is showing here because of the vectors we need to fly to our waypoint. Anyway, let's go down from BDOC. Our next waypoint is to Delta Juliet Bravo. That's a VOR. So we'll plug it in here. From Delta Juliet Bravo, we will take a direct to Juliet Hotel Whiskey VOR. From Juliet Hotel Whiskey, I think we are taking an airway, so we will go into the details. Airways, we are taking Quebec 82 to Pont intersection. Papa Oscar November Charlie Tango, and that's the only airway we need to use in our flight plan. We will insert this, check for any discontinuities. So far nothing here, and from there it's our arrival. We are expecting a runway 04 right arrival to Boston. Let's go select our star, ILS 04 right via JFound to arrival with a punct transition. We can use the Goshi transition for our approach. That will give us some more time to configure the aircraft. That's a little bit more distance from the final, so we will use that transition. We will insert this and we will check if any discontinuities are present on our flight plan routing, except the one that we discussed about our departure. We got some vectors. That's normal because from this waypoint to Goshi, it's ATC vectors, but we will vector ourselves using the heading mode when we are at that point. From there, it's runway 04 right and our end of our flight plan routing. We can check the route. Let's clear that. Go to the plan mode, and I'm gonna shift the view a little bit so you guys can see, and bring the flight plan to the first page, runway 22, and it's gonna draw a straight line because it doesn't know how we are going to go to Mario, but after takeoff we will do a direct to Mario to correct that, or we can use the heading mode to turn around. That will depend on how our departure shows on the chart. From Mario, actually that's the next waypoint, BDOC, and then Delta Juliet Bravo, Delta Hotel Juliet Hotel Whiskey, and then the airway to Punkt, and then from Punkt it's our arrival, Stoli, and then you'll see the approach here in a little bit. So that's our approach route, and as you see from Joby, it's gonna draw a straight line because it doesn't know how we are going to get to Goshi. But what we will do is we will use the heading mode and then take a right turn, another right turn to intercept Goshi, and eventually line up with the runway and execute our approach. That's the plan. Alright, our routing looks okay. We'll go back to the flight plan page, bring this back to the map mode, and looks like our IRS is now aligned. And we can take a look at the chart. So charts, departure, Mario 5, and there it is. So we are here, Mario is there, and as you see there is no clear depiction of how we are going to fly. I think best thing to do is we will depart and then do a direct to Mario. There are no restrictions except this one, that's above restriction of 11,000 at Mario, so because we are not using ATC, we can climb directly to our cruise level and program that on our flight control panel. We will climb directly to 37,000 feet. We can do a step climb, but I'm not sure if it's implemented yet. I haven't tried it, so I don't want to take my chances of ruining the video and the flight. So we will just go climb direct to 37,000. I want to get closer. I think there is some stuff with these digits that they are not displaying properly. That 7 is kind of buried, so I think they need to adjust the font size here. It's not fitting here, and 7 looks like 1, and that might be the same thing happening at the field displays as well. We'll go down and take a look at our performance. I'll actually take off approach right here. We don't have a performance calculator yet. We are just going to use a safe number for the flex to generate the engines. Packs will be on. We are going to depart with flaps 15. That's the standard for MD-11 as I learned it. 2.5 stab trim, that doesn't seem right. Runway slope and wind can be found on the Navigraph airport information. If we go to the runways, I'm gonna take a look at runway 23 right and see the information on this. Slope is minus 0.40% and runway QD aim is 230. So slope minus 0.40 And then the weather at the airport is winds are coming from 250 at 12 knots. So we have slight crosswind component, but it's mostly headwind because our, well, tailwind, right? Yeah. So it's not ideal. I'm not sure why we are given runway 23 and taking off with a tailwind. It's preferred to be headwind, but that might be the live weather not matching the real weather in sim. So we will use this and we will plug the magnitude of the wind like 12 and put this here. Outside air temperature is 6 degrees Celsius, so we have to mention the unit here, 6 Charlie, and that will calculate our speeds. V1 of 126, we rotate 146, and V2 162. We'll set V2 plus 5 on our FCP, 167, and then we will use that during takeoff, but we will eventually go to manage speed, and the aircraft will manage the speed itself after takeoff or when we reach thrust reduction altitude. Okay, that's good enough for me. Performance is calculated. It's giving 2.5 stab trim. I'm not sure if that's accurate. And I want to check one thing here. Let's go back to the status page. No, that one. Fuel config. That's the flight control surfaces. This is the engine. We'll just do the MD here. Well, it's not gonna give the MD there. I forgot which one was it. Is it the miscellaneous? No, it's not active. I can't click it. It's maybe the config. No. If we looked at that. Fuel. So fuel 7650. So my assumption was correct. These digits are not fitting in the displays. They need to work on that to make it fit. CG 25.6. That's fully there, nothing there. Electrical, and if this is light, if you see a light, that means it has an orange or it has an error that it recorded for that system. That's why it's lighting. Alright, we'll keep it here. Engine page, that's starting the default page. Gross weight 201750. That's not correct, I believe. Let me see my flight plan. Takeoff weight. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct, and we will think that the aircraft calculated the correct trim. So stab trim is showing 7.2. Maybe we are nose heavy today, so we will bring that down to 2.5, which is the calculated trim by the aircraft, and hope that it is okay. And this last version that they released past Friday is not bugged and the trim is not calculated correctly. We will see very quickly at takeoff if this is the correct trim setting. Our MCP is pretty much set. Heading is the only thing we need to set to runway QDM, and that's 230. Set now. We can arm the nav and profile, as you see here. Takeoff clamp is showing because we have a flex temperature, and 37,000 feet is showing here as well. Aside from that, we will keep the traffic on ND, and airport cannot be clicked. Again, we'll put the VOR 1 and 2 here. That's auto tune. And I wonder if they fixed the standby altimeter, because it was showing 10,000. and it was off by 10,000, and it is still showing 10,000 as you see here, but that's still not fixed. I haven't checked the QNH. Let me see here. Altimeter is 2987. So we will set the barometric pressure. That's not that. 2987 is set, and it should sync to the Copilot say side. No, it didn't, so we will set it there too. And we'll press the B key to see if it's matching. Well, 288, that's close, so the sim is still not getting the live weather accurately, or there is some delay. We'll get some lights here. We'll plug in our ATC code after clearing everything. We will use 1453. We could have used 2000 as well because we are not using any ATC at all. Nothing here. The trims are looking okay. This is still not working or inoperable. External power on. Yeah. So that's pretty much our setup. There is nothing we can do. This is still not modeled. If you want to check the oxygen and other things, and I'll just take a look at the checklist to see if we missed anything. Excuse me. And we will start the APU. Alright. That's before starting engines. Well, that's not before starting engines. Is it in the pre-flight? It's not in the pre-flight, so the pre-flight doesn't tell me to start the APU. So we'll go ahead and start the APU and then do the checklist like before starting the engines. The other thing, you see this reflection here? I'm not sure ND with the glare shield here can reflect on the windshield like this. If it was something else, maybe I'd be more okay with it, but I don't think that reflection is correct. So that needs fixed as well. Alright, we have done the test, so we can start the APU. You can start the APU from here or here, but as far as I know, if you start the APU from this panel, it will bypass all the safety checks. So we will use this and hit. And if we go outside, we should be able to hear the APU spooling. They have done some external model corrections, so now we have at least the fan blades showing and that kind of thing. So APU is coming online and now it's available. We can disengage the external power and we can turn the APU bleed on. Yep, that looks okay. External power can be turned off and we can disconnect the ground power unit. Alright, now APU is running. We are all set and ready for pushback and our departure. So let's go and take a look at the checklist now. Before starting engines, FMS MCDU initialized and checked, IRS is aligned, hydraulic panel is checked, fuel panel we have checked. We have 7,650 kilograms of fuel in each tank. Emergency light switch is armed, no smoking is on auto, but we can turn it on. Fire warnings tested, evac switch is armed. I'm not sure where the evac switch is, and I don't think we have armed something like that. Maybe it's not clear yet or not operable. MSFS control panel checked, lights out. Cabin pressure panel is checked and auto. Windshield anti-ice and defog, that's on normal position, that's here. Pressing will turn it off, so it's on by default. Glare shield control panel is set and checked. System display control panel is checked. bugs are set. Standby flight instruments are checked. That has a 10,000 feet difference, which is a bug. Gear handle all down. Gears handle is down. 4 greens. Auto brake selector to TO. I'm not sure why you do this before starting the engines, but okay, I guess let's put it to TO. Not that guy. Okay, and put the spoilers back into place. Brakes and pressures. Parking brake is set, and I think you can see the pressure. The system is not, that's the hydraulic system. It should be somewhere here, the brake pressure. Those are the temperatures. Oh, that's the brake pressure. That's okay. Auxiliary hydraulic pump, we can turn it on, and that will hopefully pressurize these systems. Flaps, slats up and retracted. Throttles are closed, reversers are down. Takeoff warning checked. That's, I guess, advancing the throttles, but I'm not gonna do that. I don't know if this is done right here. Fuel switches are off, weather radar is off, and transponder is set. So now we are, I think, clear to push. That's when you turn the auxiliary hydraulic pump and the beacon lights, which we can do now, and we can request GSX to push us. Alright, so we haven't opened any doors, so that's good. They should be coming to push. The stairs are being disconnected from the aircraft. And he's gonna check everything and confirm the pushback.
Hello, Captain. We are ready for pushback.
There we go. We might have to use the anti-ice during takeoff. That might require us to recalculate the speeds because it's 6 degrees, so below 10 degrees. And cloudy.
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
So our pushback should be, let me see here. Tail left, nose right, I believe. But no, I'm wrong. Tail right, nose left is the pushback direction we want. So let's go into the cockpit. We will select starter A. Beacon light can be turned on now, and we are waiting for the ground crew. It's taking a little long, I guess. So we see the wind here. Okay. Tail right, nose left is the one we want.
Release parking brakes.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing push. All engines clear. Start at will.
Now they are pushing us. We can go ahead and start engine number 3 first. We are looking for 15% N2, and then we will introduce fuel. I'm not sure why this is happening. You see these flashing warnings here. That could be very well a bug. 15%, add the fuel, and if we go outside, I'm gonna do this view. The pen blade animation is not great, so it all blacks out. I'll try to show it to you when we start the other engine. So this needs some correction too, because I wasn't happy. And then the center wheel is always in the ground. They need to figure that out as well. Alright, starter cutout. We will wait for the pushback to complete, and I want to show you the animation when starting the other engine, so I need the aircraft steady to do that. And these warnings are just, I don't know what's going on there. You see the display here, configuration, spoilers are being... Is it the spoilers or is it the ailerons? Well, yeah, this is bugged. This is bugged. It's giving me a monster caution. They need to fix this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening here.
Set parking brakes.
Right, let's set the parking brakes.
Waiting your confirmation for a good engine start.
Let's tell them to disconnect.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good engine start. You can disconnect.
Unlocking gear.
So I'm gonna position the camera to the left engine. And actually, I think number 1 is the center. We'll see. We'll have 2 engines to start. I just want you guys to see the fan blade animation when we engage the starter. Let's go back into the cockpit, wrong button here. And let's go with engine number 1 and see if that's that one. No, it's not that one, it's this one. I couldn't show that to you guys, but we will see it with this guy here. Engine number 2.
Tow truck disconnected.
Alright.
Bypass pin removed. Left is clear.
18%, so we can add the fuel. I'm a little bit late, but it's okay. There we go. Fuel in, fuel flow. We will see the ignition. That's the ignition symbol, so that's light off and M1 rotation. And these messages should just clear out when all 3 engines are running and the hydraulic system is driven by the engines. Alright, we are going to do the other one a little bit quicker. Actually, the starter cutout is... Yeah, we will wait until the engine is stable and then start our remaining engine number 2. Alright, so I'm gonna quickly jump outside to show you guys the fan blade animation here. As you see, it starts spinning immediately and then turns all black. It should spool slower than this, so this animation I'm not happy with. Alright, let's wait for 15%. We will add the fuel. Fuel flow is seen. Light off. And M1 rotation. So, good engine start. Or it will be a good engine start. Alright, that's good. And we'll now do the after engine start, which we haven't done. One thing here I completely forgot. We need to set the flap selector to 15 degrees because that's our selected flap setting for dial a flap. So that's now done. We can now select flaps 15, which will be displayed on our TFD. Flaps 15 is set. We will arm the spoilers. Stab trim, we'll double check, that's still 2.5, and we'll do a flight controls check. So full back, neutral, full forward, neutral, full left, neutral, full right, neutral, right rudder, left rudder. Alright, all flight controls are free and correct. And we'll go back to the engine page here. Before taxiing, we'll just go turn the APU off because we don't need APU anymore. Is it turned off automatically? I'm not sure if it's... It shows off here. Let me check one thing here real quick. We'll go to the lead page and see. So those are the 3 engines. Electrical. Oh, yeah, APU page. Looks like we don't have an APU page. Yeah, APU turned off on its own, which is kind of interesting in my opinion. Because it says in the checklist, select APU off. Maybe that's another bug that they need to fix. And now the APU is showing. Oh. I don't know. I really don't know. It seems doing nothing, so we will leave with that. We will put the taxi lights on. We have checked everything, and we will start our taxi to runway 23, and I will meet you guys at the threshold. Oh, I keep saying threshold, hold short. Okay. So let's disconnect or disengage the parking brake. The aircraft is not gonna start rolling, or it should. I don't know. We'll give it some power, and off we go. See you at the hold short point, guys. Alright, we are approaching runway 23, and let's go into the cockpit. There's the hold short point. We will stop here momentarily and configure the aircraft for takeoff. Alright, hold the brakes. We have green box, which means our takeoff configuration is valid. Flaps are selected, speed brakes are armed. We'll go and turn on our anti-ice system for engine 1, 2, 3, and we'll keep the anti-ice on. Why am I getting all these warnings? There's still something wrong here, I'm suspecting, but why can't I turn the engine anti-ice on? Well, interesting. That's maybe a bug, I'm not sure. Pressing the button seems to do nothing, and I'm not sure if this warning lights should be here. We have low pressure showing here, so the entire fuel system and bleed air system is, I guess, not working as expected. But we will turn our landing lights on, and then we will turn the high intensity lights on. That's the strobes. Transponder can go to TARA, and we are ready to line up. Release the brakes. Give her some throttle. Ground handling is improved a lot, so I am not unhappy with how it is right now. It can be improved a little bit more, but I guess it is fine. Turn like this. If you pass 10 knots on the ground, the turns are a lot wider and you overshoot the turn. So with this being a heavy aircraft, I think you need to be careful when you are on the ground and keep an eye on your ground speed. But this looks okay to me. We will stop here and complete a couple last things. We will keep the performance page or speeds here. We will keep the flight plan on the Copilot FMC. And the weather is kind of dark. I'm gonna turn the logo light on as well. Landing lights are on. And we are pretty much ready to go after arming the auto throttle. It is now armed. Profile armed shows here, nav armed, and when we advance the throttles beyond 70%, auto thrust should kick in and take control. Alright, increase the throttles. Release the brakes and keep advancing the throttles beyond 70%, and the auto thrust will take control, which it did right now. And off we go, keeping some forward pressure on the yoke and maintaining the center line. 80 knots checked. We are coming to V1, release the pressure. And we are coming to the rotate speed, 142. Gently lift the nose and pitch up to 15 degrees. Just a little bit more. Let's keep the runway heading. And there we go. Positive rate, gear can come up now. Okay, flaps retracted. We passed the flap speed, so we can go and retract the flaps and bring them in. We are going to follow this. And we are coming to slats. We will keep 10 degrees on the nose until we get to the slats retraction speed. I know we need to make a left turn somehow, but I'm gonna fly, because remember we had vectors flying out. Alright, so slat retraction speed is almost there. Track the slats, there we go, and we can now engage the autopilot. Autopilot will take control, will go, and we'll do a direct to Mario, and activate, and the aircraft now will turn around and fly towards Mario. After takeoff, we can disarm the speed brakes. And I didn't turn on the weather radar, but I don't think it is working at this point in time. It's not modeled yet, I believe. But now, as you see, oops, we are in the soup, flying out. Nothing to be seen yet. But looks like aircraft is managing the speed at or below 250. And turning towards our waypoint Mario. That's pretty much the takeoff part. Anti-ice did not work, so unfortunately, and I'm not sure if this is the correct behavior on the speed tape or altitude tape, because as you see the numbers display and then they disappear and then they show again. So I'm not sure what's going on here, but it goes to blank time to time. Maybe it's the even and odd altitude numbers. Seems like no, but we'll see what happens when we pass 8,000. As you see now, the last two digits are gone, and we are climbing at 3,000 feet per minute. I'm not sure if this is also true to the real aircraft, and then the digits come back again and then they will go back. I'm not sure if this has anything to do with the LOD or your zoom level, but we are about to pass 10,000, so let's go ahead and turn off our landing lights. Landing lights are coming in. And seat belts can stay on auto. We are a cargo flight, so that's really not gonna make too much difference. We might have some crew on board, but that's pretty much it, guys, for the takeoff part. Now we are climbing It's set to climb thrust, and about 10,000 it's now accelerating to the climb speed, which can be seen in the progress or performance page, I'm sorry. 310.81. So that's the calculated climb forecast. I'm not sure if this is modeled yet. Looks like it's not. Transition altitude is correct. That's 18,000 for the US. And that's pretty much it. So we will climb like this. As you see, we are still climbing 3,000 feet per minute. That's, yeah. I'm turning towards the waypoint. I don't see any traffic information on our NB, even if we have selected the traffic. Let me see. Well, yeah, we can see the data, and we can increase the range or decrease the range to kind of 40 nautical miles. I think it is fine. Mario is there. We are above 11,000, which was the restriction for at Mario. So we are climbing nicely. I will climb like this, bring you guys back when we are close to our cruise level. And then second part of this video will be descent, approach and landing, because I want to keep it around 45 minutes. And I think we have talked a lot, and this has been a long video. So see you in a little bit. Alright friends, we are about 31,000 feet and getting close to our cruise level. I brought you guys to discuss something about the climb accuracy and vertical navigation. As you see, we are at 32,000 feet, still climbing at over 2,000 feet per minute. It's holding the speed quite well though, Mark 8.2, 817, so it's looking at least good, although it's a little bit higher than that. But what I wanted to discuss is I think the climb is still a little bit aggressive, because it's gonna climb at this rate until like 1,000 feet to the cruise level, and then try to level off. I'm not sure if this is really the correct behavior for VNAV, but I just wanted you guys to see that too. So coming up to 35,000 feet, I think they have changed it, so 1.6, so the aircraft is slowly cutting the vertical speed, and the throttles 102 and 1, and I'm not sure if this is, well, maybe this is the correct calculation. The 1.5, actually now I think this is fixed. Before it was going about 2,000 feet per minute until the last 1,000 feet and then trying to level off. I think they have done some work on the VNAV. Now it is a little bit more smoother transition from climb to cruise. At least I'm expecting it to be. 35,000, 500. Oh. Okay, I think this is gonna work a little bit better than last time I tried. The climb it's slowing down on the vertical speed, which is good to see, and it's not like climbing full speed until 1,000 feet to the cruise level. And we are turning left, so the LNAV seems to do its thing pretty nicely, following the flight plan routing. 0.2 to the right, so that's the deviation from our course, and I think that's within the limits. 36,000 feet, so it's gradually slowing down on the vertical speed and climbing. I think it's gonna stick to 1,000 feet per minute, about 36,000 feet. So yeah. So, and then the last 500, 400 feet it will start pitching the nose down to come to a level flight at 37,000 feet. So which is good to see. This has been fixed at least. So now we reached our cruise level. There is really nothing to do at the cruise in terms of checks, and that checklist, I'm not sure everything it has is modeled yet, but check the fuel on board, and I was right, so the displays are showing correctly, but they are not able to fit all the digits in there, so 7 is looking a little bit awkward there, but we have 6,300 kilograms in each tank, except the tank 3 has 50 kilograms less. Fuel burn, I haven't done a calculation on how accurate it is in terms of fuel used and etc. But so far we managed to get to cruise. Looks like we are holding the altitude very well. It shows hold here 37,000, and now it's getting to the planned cruise speed of 808, which is what it's maintaining here. This is nice to see, and I think we made it to cruise without too many significant issues, except I still think the fuel system and the bleed air system needs some work. If I look down, as you see here, transition low, I'm not sure if it's the transfer tanks to maintain the CG. I'm not too knowledgeable about MD-11. If you know the answer to what this means, please feel free to leave a comment. Engine ignition, I don't know if you need to turn it off after takeoff. I wasn't able to find anything, but when you do, you'll get a warning, engine ignition not armed. Maybe this is just arming this, but it says manual, so I'm not sure what this is displaying. But over here at the bleed air system, APU is showing using engine air, which is the correct thing to display. But we have an avionics fan override displayed and cannot be turned off, and avionics overheat. So in the auto mode, there is something wrong here that doesn't make sense in my opinion. Down below here, if we go and check the pages of the displays, nothing is shown here. Hydraulic seems to be fine. Electrical system should be fine. Bleed air, it is showing fine here, and the cabin pressure is looking okay. I'm not sure if this is the landing elevation that we need to set prior to landing, but despite this is showing green, we are getting some warnings on the overhead. Anyway, so next part of this video we will look at the descent, approach and landing. Thanks for being here with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. As I said at the beginning, this is just a review video of the MD-11 from TFDI Design, and I will see you in the next video.